going to give you the list right now, okay? And I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me yes or no with just a little, if you want to give a little bit on it. So we just talked about Carolina, Denver. Right?
Yeah, great situation.
Great defense, good offensive line, great play caller. Okay, Chicago.
I think yes.
I do too. So as we continue to go down this list, I think we're in a really good place right now. And I think teams have gotten the memo in terms of how do we develop young quarterbacks. So Chicago, I would also say yes. And I would say Caleb is playing fine this year. I think he's playing better than he was playing last year. But the success that they've had, there's a surrounding cast. And now all of a sudden, they're not sitting at 3-9. He's not running around for his life trying to make plays left and right. He's able to kind of feel out some of these games. And that's how you grow. I always think about Ben Roethlisberger and how good they were when Ben was young, and Ben was a knucklehead. And then, as he was able to grow, he became the reason that they were so great. Well, that was not the reason when he was a young knucklehead. Houston.
I'm going to say the offensive line is a struggle for me.
Offensive line's a struggle. I don't know Nick Caley very well. I know.
Yeah, first-year coordinator. That's tough, probably.
First-year coordinator. But an elite defense. So at the very least, when you're giving up 15 points a game, that's going to allow you to kind of get over some of your struggles. I would think, and now C.J. Stroud in year 3, hopefully, he's already to the point where he's matured a little bit in that role. New England, Vrabel checked all the boxes, right?
All of them.
That was the most important thing that he did. He checked all those boxes for Drake May, and we're seeing that come to fruition. Minnesota.
Play callers without a question. Defense has been, spotty at times this year. For sure, stopping the run mostly, which I think is tough. And then offensive line wise, they've just unfortunately been unhealthy. And that's the struggle there.
And I think that defense has been stressed a little more this year than in years past, especially than last year. When they were putting up points and playing with the lead and being able to come after teams a little bit. So I still think it's a good situation. What about the Giants?
Giants, let's see. Well, obviously it hasn't been good because you've fired everybody in the Bills basically at this point. Now, I think that one's kind of a mixture of probably things that happened before the quarterback got there. I don't think it's them not trying to build a good situation around him. I don't think that they really anticipated he'd have to be the guy this year. I think it'd be interesting to see who's good. To me, if you're the Giants organization, how do you perfect what Mike Vrabel just did, what Ben Johnson just did, and say that those things that you just listed are the priorities, and how do we build that environment for a young quarterback?
I agree with that one. The Browns.
No, not a great situation. Defensively, yes.
Yeah,
I think they've just been a disaster everywhere else.
They've been a disaster on offense. You don't really, even though some would say Jerry Jeudy, I don't think you have that bona fide one. Yeah. Tommy Reese calling plays this year. Again, not sure. Titans is a definite no. They fired Callahan. Hard agrees in there calling plays now. They're still trying to figure it out. They're really struggling. Again, a team that could look at the New England blueprint of how do we get guy. If we think that this is the guy, we think Cam Ward is our guy going forward, which from everybody I've talked to in that organization, they love him. They love him as a guy. They think he works hard. Guys respond to him. So how do we build a better infrastructure around him? And then the last one, the New York Jets. Now, I feel like, and you could tell me, a lot better than I do, but so 2 years in a row, they've used a top 11 pick on tackles, right?
Yep.
So whether Membu and Fashanu are the guys or not, they're trying to, I think, build it the right way. Now they've gotten rid of some cornerstones on defense, which makes it a little bit harder. And then they've got an unproven play caller that they brought over from Detroit. But what steps can we take as the Jets with 2 first-round picks this next year and 3 the following year in order to build that infrastructure to have a successful quarterback? Before you go, I want to say I don't think they need to rush into drafting a quarterback this next year, because I don't think if they don't have a guy that they're absolutely in love with, I don't think the infrastructure is there, and could take another year before you could bring a quarterback into a situation to be able to have some success.
Yeah, I mean, they could almost be a team that does something more similar to, how Andy Dalton got to Cincinnati, and you weren't sure of the Carson Palmer situation. So maybe spending a mid-round pick on some quarterback that you think could develop into a guy instead of maybe a heavy investment, because I think they still got to build some infrastructure. I agree with you, but I also think, and you made this point about Carolina last year, I just thought it was not the right move going to Justin Fields with a young right tackle, with a young left tackle. I thought that really honestly, here's the reality. Teams say, hey, man, you know what, this guy, we could do the run game and we're going to use his legs and we're going to do all it. But the truth is, man, this is the NFL. You're going to get put in situations where you got to throw the football from drop back pass. And if you want to be any good, you're going to have to do that a lot, because how is this game won? We talk about it all the time. In the last 5 minutes of every game, you're going to be in 2 minutes. You're going to have some situation where you've got to be able to throw the football down the field and methodically drive down the field with no time and win games. And I just don't think that Justin Fields has shown that he is that guy. And to me, you said this with Carolina, and that was my point. Like Tyrod Taylor not playing, and we've said, now he is, but man, putting a veteran quarterback in there that can just get all the skill, he's just going to run the offense in a way where young tackles are going to know the ball's coming out on time. They're going to know that we're going to actually run efficient plays. And that he's going to bring confidence to the skill guys, because he's going to put the ball where it should go. And he's going to know when they're the number one or they're 2 or 3, he's going to get through progressions. He's going to run an NFL offense to a degree. And then you can inject that young guy back in there once there's some confidence. And I just thought that when you look at it, man, as young tackles, it's hard to judge them because they weren't playing a very conventional style of offense. And when they were, it doesn't look like real good NFL offensive football. So it's hard to judge those guys because you're constantly getting put in situations that just aren't the truth when you have a veteran quarterback in there who's playing in a more efficient way. And so I think it's tough to judge that group. And I agree with you. I think that they should invest a little more in the infrastructure. And maybe it's going and finding that guy that they think could be an answer, and having a veteran in there that can kind of bring some stability to this offense as you move forward.
Yeah. And just to put a button on that, even for the play caller, who is Tanner Engstrand? We don't know, because he's been handcuffed as well at the quarterback position. They haven't been able to do and see and evaluate. So that's why I think with them, it's important to have Tyrod Taylor start for the rest of the year, because I want to get an evaluation of my coordinator. Yeah. We got to watch them all develop, and running around and not throwing the ball on time and not giving guys chances is not a way to do it. So hopefully Tyrod can kind of take that thing and run with it. And look, I was in that situation a lot of my career, which was, I go back to 2019 in Miami, and I think we started 0-7. That was the tank for 2 a year. We were awful. Skill-wise, we were awful. At quarterback with me, we're awful. O-line, I'm introducing myself to people, but we stuck with it. And I had a play caller that I enjoyed, and I was a veteran quarterback that was going to get the ball out and give guys chances, and I was going to give confidence to those young linemen playing in front of me because I wasn't going to take sacks. And all of a sudden, at the end of the year, we started not just winning games, but scoring 30-plus points in these games. Yep. And it all came to a head at the very end of the year when we beat New England, when they were trying to get that number 1 seed. And it was just a huge year of accomplishment to push that organization forward for the next year. Devontae Parker was a guy that gained a lot of confidence that year. Mike Gesicki was a guy that gained a lot of confidence this year. Some of those young linemen, Austin Jackson, who's still there, those type of guys. And then all of a sudden the next year they have a much better year record-wise, and you go from there. But you can't grow unless you're giving guys opportunities to grow. And so I think Tyrod does give them the best chance for that.